Well, it's Breakfast with Friends on this beautiful, beautiful Friday morning. Jackie Clark Chisholm and Feel Good featuring Mary J. Blige. So it's time for us to get into a very important conversation. It's changing the perception around palliative care. And it's such an honor and a privilege to say good morning to Leigh Meinert. How are you doing this morning, Leigh?
I've got coffee and I'm good. Morning, Jonathan.
Yeah, I also got my coffee, and yeah, it's definitely going to be a cold one today. So, yeah, very important. Leigh, please just take us through the basics of palliative care and the wrong perceptions that we have. Because, I mean, my wife's aunt a number of years ago, she got cancer and sadly passed away, and but was blessed to have somebody who helped her in the last days of her life. Just explain a little bit more for us.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for the opportunity. I think people are reticent to engage with hospices because there is such a lack of understanding. If someone like your wife's aunt has, engaged with hospices, people know about the quality of care and are, amazed by what's on offer, but just not enough people know. So for starters, I would share a little bit of a definition, which is a bit geeky, but I think it's important. And I would emphasize that palliative care is the physical, psychological, social, and spiritual care that is provided by a multidisciplinary team of experts to anybody with a life-threatening illness and to their families. So what's sort of laden in that definition is the fact that anybody with a life-threatening illness should be sort of engaging with and receiving palliative care. And the stats in South Africa are that only 18% are getting access to this very important kind of care. Importantly, it begins from the point of diagnosis. So many people only reach out to a hospice when they're giving up hope, when they think this is the end, when there's days to live. Doctors sometimes only refer them to, just because there's this lack of understanding. Rather, we say reach out to a hospice when you get that very scary diagnosis. Palliative care is available for family members of patients too. And we walk the journey with you alongside curative treatments. And sometimes our patients get better. It's not just for old people or people in the last days of the death. Our patients, we have young patients, we have patients who get better. Sometimes our support is mostly for the family members. There's just so much that hospices offer and that people aren't really utilizing enough.
Sure, that's so good. And I'm glad that you've highlighted this, that it's important to get it from the very get-go. So, Leigh, in terms of the misperceptions that we as the public have, just let's debunk some of those.
Again, thanks for the opportunity to do so. So one thing is that hospice is a place you go to die, which is completely incorrect, because for starters, 90% of the care that our hospices provide is in people's homes, for starters. So hospice isn't a scary building somewhere and you go in and you never come out. No, we have these multidisciplinary teams of experts in all these areas: social, psychological, spiritual, medical. And we have home-based carers who come and support families in their homes. I mean, both birth and death are actually very natural, and we've over-medicalized them over the decades, and if someone's very sick, we rush them off to hospital. But I think most of us, if given the choice and the opportunity and had the knowledge, if we were very, very sick and we knew our end was coming, would want to die ideally at home with loved ones around us. And hospices make that possible. They empower the families as well. As I said, often most of their support is for the family members, showing them, no, you can do this. This isn't scary.
Yeah.
We can manage the pain. We can manage the symptoms. And your loved one can have a beautiful end. I always say a good death is such a gift to everyone we leave behind. A peaceful death, that's possible. And hospices can facilitate that and make it a lot less scary.
I love the fact that there is a kind of a complete approach to it, not just the nursing and the medical side, but also the spiritual side and the fact of involving the family. Because yes, the individual might be going through the terminal illness and be at the end of his or her life, but the family has got to deal with that and then the after effects as well. In terms of anybody who's going through that right now and perhaps is a little uncertain about palliative care or worried about, how does it exactly work and things like that, what are just a few of the things that you could maybe encourage us and kind of clear up for us with regard to home palliative care?
Well, one of the things I'd love to encourage everyone listening to this to do is go to our website, hpca.co.za. There's a little tab called Stories, and on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, we're sharing some patient stories, which are just a little bit mind-blowing, really. They're so touching. They're so inspiring. They sort of really have changed even, my perceptions of what is possible when you engage with a hospice. So just for starters, if you, too scared to reach out and make that phone call, just read some of these stories and see what is possible. And two is to say that, again, engaging with a hospice doesn't mean giving up hope. It's a very hopeful activity. We always say that hospices are about improving quality of life. They're not about death and dying. Yes, we facilitate death and dying. Yes, indeed, if your loved one passes away, we're there for you, even with bereavement support at the end. But actually, hospice care and palliative care is about making the most of the days that we have left. And none of us really know. Sometimes when we do know, we're very sick. We want to make, it's all the more important to make even more of those precious days. And that's what hospices do. We focus on quality of life. And the stories on our website are just full of life and hope and inspiration.
Beautiful, beautiful. Again, that website address, www.hpca.co.za. Leigh Meinert, so that's where we're going to have to land it for now, but thank you so much for helping us to understand a little better. Leigh is the Advocacy and Operations Manager of the HPCA. It's been really great chatting to you, Leigh, and we wish you and the rest of the team all the best.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you. Have a great day.